IBM's founder Thomas Watson once famously said, to be successful, you have to have your heart in your business and your business in your heart. Make your vote for small business and join us on It's My Biz, where we meet the entrepreneurs who've put their hearts and souls into creating great businesses. We've got another fantastic episode lined up. Our small business owner comes face to face with three extraordinary thought leaders tonight. The founder and MD of a multiple award-winning travel business, the co-founder and joint CEO of South Africa's biggest promotions and activations agency, and the co-owner and director of the country's fastest growing food brand. Tonight's business owner is Emma Makatu. I was lucky enough to spend some time at her magnificent guest lodge in Cape Town.
I wasn't cut out to be in corporate. After working for an accounting firm, I dabbled in construction. I had a passion in construction. The guest house, I built it from my own company. I remember at that time it was cheaper to build than to buy. I came to the Western Seaboard, and at that time the place was quite new and it was good value for money.
So tell me how you transitioned from building to running a B&B.
This area was developing, so I got some guys that were building. Because of their skills, we were able to register with NHBRC. I came in to do the finance, the marketing and everything. At one point in time, you have to acknowledge that not everybody is an entrepreneur, so we parted ways. But the accommodation business for me worked, so I adapted.
What was the biggest fear?
You know, the risk is very high. Anything can happen anytime. I don't think entrepreneurs are fearful. The word doesn't exist in their dictionary. We always look at how to turn challenges into opportunities.
So give me some detail about this business.
When I started Neu-Ner Lodge, it was only accommodation. When I expanded in 2006, I didn't have to go to the bank. If I have a business, to some extent, it must be able to sustain itself. In 2010, I registered another CC, Neu-Ner Entertainment, and that was to look at events, catering, and shuttle services. Neu-Ner Lodge offers an authentic African experience, and at the same time, we make our guests feel at home.
So tell me what you love most about what you do.
I love the challenges that come with the business. The clients that we serve are discerning and demanding, and we have to raise up to their expectations.
What would you say is your biggest achievement?
What makes me proud now is I'm the 2013 winner of the Tsogosan Bouquet Guest House. That means I'm the face of the Bouquet Guest House, and I get access to the markets. For me, it's about exposure. Everything else I can take from there. I'm happy with what I have. I'm happy that I was able to expand. I'm happy to say, when I look at the financials every year, they get better.
What are your biggest challenges?
Unlike a hotel, a guest house is, to some extent, you. So when they come here, there's certain expectations. The challenge is I have to expand without compromising on quality as well. The other one is retention of staff. Maybe I'm not recruiting at the right places.
And what are you hoping to learn from our thought leaders?
There comes a time when you are so much into your business that you don't see the obvious mistakes that you're making. And I want to expand. These are the elements that I've considered, and then maybe they can come up with another avenue. And I'm hoping when I come out of there, I will come out more empowered, more enriched, and more fearless.
Here she is, tonight's small business trailblazer, Emma Makatu. They're the hearts and minds behind some of South Africa's greatest brands and businesses. Let's introduce you to tonight's thought leaders.
I'm Paul Raffaeli, co-owner and marketing director for Neu-Ner brands. We produce everything from hot chocolate to liquid concentrated stocks and export our almost 170 odd products to 38 export markets around the world.
Hi, I'm Johanna Mokoki. I'm the founder and group CEO of Travel with Flair. We've been around for 17 years and Travel with Flair is a corporate travel management company.
Hi, I'm Neu-Ner. I'm one of the CEOs of the Creative Council Group. We're the biggest activations agency in South Africa. We create branded experiences that get consumers to go out there and buy products. Our business has been around for about 12 years and we employ over 550 staff around South Africa.
In a moment, Emma will present her business case to the thought leaders and answer their questions. That's coming up after the break.
Register on simplybiz.co.za and get the support you need for your small business. Register on simplybiz.co.za and get the support you need for your small business.
My name is Emma Makatu and I'm a proud owner of Neu-Ner Lodge. My challenges are recruitment and retention of staff, and the saddest thing is having to say to my guests, sorry, we're fully booked.
I think I'll get things started from our side just to suggest that expansion is a tricky thing to do because it's always good to expand from a point of strength. And listening to where you feel that you've got pressures in your business, the retention of staff and how that may affect your business, perhaps what you should be thinking about doing is getting the business to a point where you are able to retain other people to do the things that you are less passionate about and enable you to get the time to do the stuff that you're excited about, that you're generally interested in, playing to your strengths rather than focusing on the weaknesses.
So are you suggesting that I get somebody else to look at human resource issues and then concentrate on what I know best?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good idea to find the thing that you really enjoy in your business. Identify the stuff that you're not good at and then work out a way to grow the business in such a way that you would be able to find that person to come in and lend that value and actually really take that worry off your hands.
And I think that one of the, maybe three key things stand out. First of all, you need to be able to ensure that you have a more personal connection with your staff. Second thing is people are driven by meeting targets and being incentivized once they reach those targets. Thirdly, you need to be part of the interview process and be able to find people with like minds.
I think you're onto something great, and I think you've got a great demeanor, and I think your demeanor is perfect for the service industry. And I think as an entrepreneur, what you've got to do is you've got to have the guts to grow, but you've got to remember some fundamental rules. The first rule is grow conservatively and responsibly. So make sure that don't double or triple your business without knowing that you can fill those beds. The next thing is very important. You seem to be someone who has a certain service ethic or service culture. Try and find people with the same culture that you've got. My last point to you is to say, try and get away from the management of the business and try and run the leadership of the business so that every person has inspired by you written all over them.
I'd like to expand on that too. My background is obviously in branding primarily. I mean, I'm a big believer in the idea of brand custodianship or brand championing. And it might be also a very worthwhile exercise in this for you to go through a process of addressing what the branding is of the lodge. What is the identity of the lodge? You know, clothing is a brand, perfumes are a brand, music is a brand, a rock star is a brand. But people attach themselves to it and become loyal to it in a way that they would more so than if it were a simple basic service. And it's possible that one could almost create that around the service of the lodge as well. And just by paying attention to the brand, then your staff as well begin to develop a feeling of ownership over the idea of what you stand for. And that's what people buy into.
It's a good idea to take your staff away at the beginning of the year or as soon as possible and to get them to build the brand Bible with you. What do we stand for? Who are we?
Yep.
Who are we not? What do we do? What don't we do? You'll also find that as the leader of the lodge, you've got to aim very, very, very high. And what happens is your staff will meet you somewhere over there. So that means that you've got to lead by example. And that's part of your letting go process. If you can create that culture in your business, in a service business, where everything you do has your touch on it, then your staff will follow. They'll feel like it's their brand Bible and it's their business, and that's what you want.
Ren is quite right that Each company, however small, needs to jointly draw the mission and the vision, and they will buy in much easier.
Many studies have been done to determine why people stay in their place of work. And the answers have been ownership and recognition. So by empowering people to own processes in your business, you're going to keep your staff for much longer because they feel much more invested.
Staff have to feel that they're part of a family. You know, people, because they spend so much time at work, need to feel that they're appreciated and they have a sense of belonging and purpose. Yes, money does form part of it, but it's not the greater part. People want to know that they're valued. And in the service industry, there is nothing as wonderful as satisfied staff, because that to me is like gold to a miner.
I think taking things a step forward as well, when it comes to retention of staff, which seems to be the main theme here, one also has to understand that you won't necessarily always have everything in common with the people that work for you. It's a common misunderstanding that many entrepreneurs make. So perhaps the trick might be, it's a good military strategy. Instead of trying to command the whole battlefield, you choose areas that you can dominate and command those points first. And you focus on getting those rock solid, one at a time, small victories that add up to a big victory in the end.
I heard a talk the other day from one of South Africa's big business icons. The primary interview technique that he has is he takes the people for a 2-hour drive and he watches how many rules they violate, how many risks they take, and he makes his decisions based on that. The insight there says rather hire people based on their culture. Make sure that you can read the person's culture, because skills can be taught. If the person has a brain in their head, you can teach them or almost any skill.
With your businesses, there's got to be a component towards deciding when it's a good time to expand. How would you guys pick that moment?
Well, for me, the writing's on the wall. If you're saying that your beds are consistently full and you're turning people away, that's a sign that says that you should have maybe even decided a little bit earlier that it's time to expand. I think the barriers are more in your head. Because I remember when we started our business, our biggest decision was whether we should hire a receptionist. And then we spent time answering the phones when we should have been spending the time building a business. And only when we hired that receptionist, only when we did that did we realize, wow, how did we not hire this receptionist before?
How do I expand without compromising on quality? I always have a challenge as to whether I should have another property in Milnerton Ridge, or do I go to another suburb.
Have you looked at your neighbor next door if you can give them a price they can't refuse? Because it'd be easier to manage.
But I think it's a good idea.
You first need to be able to have a proper business plan and be able to forecast it properly, that it's bankable based on that, and obviously given the market value of the properties in your area that you're looking at, then you'll be able to know if indeed you can afford a new property, because from there you can know, will I be able to have the funds that you need to be able to be comfortable with scaling, because that's the only way that you can be able to grow and be really significant in the industry that you're playing in.
Yeah. I'm going to challenge you on your point about buying the next door neighbor. Because I think the next lesson that we need to learn is how to manage when you're a little bit further away, when you're not there all the time. And then you'll build the right processes and systems and double check and triple check mechanisms to make sure that your service ethic is being adhered to. So I would say stay in Milnerton, because you're saying that your beds are full in Milnerton, but not right next door. Go a few roads away and learn how to manage by remote control. And once you get that right, it'll give you the tools to open up a business anywhere in the country, because you know how to manage and you have the right systems and you have the right processes.
The extension of this discussion is the decision most entrepreneurs face sooner or later as to whether they should focus or whether they should diversify.
If she over-diversify and is too far from the one property, she's going to feel like she needs 3 Emmas to be able to make it work. I think that the first thing is to be able to get over the hurdle of being too careful, but just trust in the process that you're going to take from here on, and know that if you have the right people around you, you certainly can be able to grow wherever you are.
So does that mean that I need to have people on my side that have more skills than me, so as to carry the whole thing forward?
I would try and identify what you're good at and what you're passionate about and put that into one box. And everything that doesn't fall into that box, hire the best people in the industry. You're constraining yourself. Have the guts to take that leap, but do it in a structured manner.
Most business models will mature at a different stage, become what they call established. It might be that this is just one phase of you maturing into a role where suddenly you can't run your business like an entrepreneur would ordinarily, trying to do everything. And with that one stage of maturation, now you have to bring in somebody else just to be able to help the business run in a more ordered fashion. So it's knowing for yourself when you're ready to make that jump, but then looking at the pressure points in the business and knowing the business is telling me this is what it needs.
About the branding aspect on Neu-Ner, can you explain that to me?
All businesses have got a voice. Your business, there's a personality there. There's a spirit, something that you feel when you experience it. When you can establish what it is that the brand is telling you about itself, when you experience it, suddenly you have an idea of the point that you want to stress. Perhaps it's the amazing entertainment provided in the room. Perhaps it's the childcare that's unexpected. But all of these little things begin to inform who you are and what the business communicates, whether or not you're communicating it. What would be the one thing about experiencing your lodge that sets it apart? And that's where it starts.
I think just to add to Paul, the branding comes out from the one true experience that your visitors get. Over and above that, you need to drive the brand. So the things that your visitors highlight in terms of the experience with your property, you need to be able to then go out, tweet those, Facebook, whatever it is that you use as a social media and you're comfortable with, those are the tools that you need to be able to use to be able to drive your brand further.
We've entered an era where consumers have become the new media and they share amazing things or amazing experiences. So whether it's cute lines or cute photos that they're going to take a little shot with and tweet it or post it on Facebook, make sure that every experience in your hotel, every point, right through from the reception to the cleaner in the hotel, lives and creates those experiences, and give consumers tools to share those experiences. And then you've got a great brand building campaign going with everything that you do.
It's the sort of thing where the consumer becomes your spokesman. They become your ambassador and they go out and generate new business for you.
It's the small things that make the biggest difference. I use a certain vehicle rental company for one reason. They leave a box of mints in the cubbyhole. So my question to you is, what are the 5 things that your resort does or that your guest house does that you don't see anywhere else and that connects with consumers in such a way that they leave there and they go, that place just got me.
Some excellent points made about getting staff to own processes so that they feel more invested in the business, starting the expansion process with a bankable business plan, and creating special customer experiences that are worth talking about. Now, when we come back, Emma gets some top tips from the thought leaders.
Register on simplybiz.co.za and get the support you need for your small business. Register on simplybiz.co.za and get the support you need for your small business. Read about this business in the Business Report this Friday.
Now, Emma, all the thought leaders agree that the writing's on the wall. It's not a matter of whether to expand, but more a question of how and when. Now, Joanna says you need to start with a bankable business plan and find ways for your staff to be part of the growth of the business. And then Ryan says you need to take a leap. Get people to help you manage the business so that you can focus on leading the business. And then, of course, Paul suggests growing the brand by finding those special experiences and touches that set you apart. What do you think?
Well, the advice I got from the business advisors was inspirational. You know, the great thing about it is that they are all entrepreneurs. They walk my walk, and that's very encouraging.
Emma, let's hear those top tips from the thought leaders.
By the sounds of it, you're at a point where expansion is definitely something that's very much where your head is at. The question now becomes how to do it. The idea straight away is to decide what part of the expansion do you want to be involved with? Where are your strengths? What do you want to be doing within the business once it has expanded? Once you can work out the stuff that you're not interested in doing, find a way to expand the business as quickly as you can to be able to bring those skills in. You have to manage growth, and that's often the trickiest part of what you have to do. On the branding side of things, as we discussed, the idea really is very simple. Establish the one kernel of strength in your business, the one experience that's more important than anything else that you want people to take away from every interaction with you, with your staff, and with the service of staying in the guest lodge. And once you've figured out what that one thing is, expand everything around it. Begin to tell a story around the whole experience. And in telling that story, you'll be able to determine what every communication will be, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, TripAdvisor, or any other social media platform. But I think there's the makings of something great here, and I wish you only the best for the future.
Staff retention is one of your key factors that you want to be able to focus on. All you need to be able to do is bring your people along with you. You need to be able to have a clear vision and a mission and make sure that the people buy into the family environment that I'm sure you're trying to create. And I think secondly, on the expansion part, get that business plan going and make sure that you find the right people to be able to help you with that. Secondly, is to be able to go out and get the finance. And then thirdly, that's going to also help you to be able to have the working capital then to have more managers that can be able to help you to grow your business onto the next level. And you have a great personality, focus on that, because I think that's one of your greatest strengths. You're a great communicator. That's another strength that you need to be able to focus on.
Emma, I think what you need to do is take a moment to step back and look at why you've achieved your success. And I think you'll realize that you've achieved your success because of you, because of your personality. And I think that you've told us that your beds are full, and you've told us that your clients keep coming back to your resort. You must have something good going. So I think it's time to take the plunge, back yourself, take the risks. People do amazing things when they're under pressure. Entrepreneurs do amazing things when they're under pressure. Take the plunge and do it. As a side note, I'd say to you, make sure you have the right management systems in place. Make sure you have the right checkpoints in place to make sure that your culture and your ethic and your service delivery is being driven. And then I think just back yourself and make it happen, because you're going to.
Emma, you've got some great advice to take back with you. Now, what do you think is next on the menu for Neu-Ner Lodge?
I'm not the person to deal with recruitment and selection. So I will look for somebody else to deal with human resources issues while I concentrate on what I know best, and that is running the business. In terms of expansion, I will get my business plan ready so that I can expand on my business and I don't have to turn away my guests.
We look forward to seeing you rise high and high. All the best.
Thank you very much.
You can see those top tips again on simplybiz.co.za. Join Nedbank's small business community today and get access to useful tools and guides like the e-commerce beginner's guide, Twitter basics, Facebook ads, and much more. Thank you for joining us tonight on Nedbank's Big Show for Small Business. It's My Biz is, of course, just one of the ways Nedbank makes its vote for small business. Here's more.
As a small business owner, you're your own boss, and you wouldn't have it any other way. But who do you turn to when you need support? You go to Nedbank's small business community at simplybiz.co.za, where you get free advice and tips on starting a business, running your business, or growing it. Where you network with other business owners, find out about important networking events, and where you can access special offers and tools to help take your business to the next level. It's the kind of solution you'd expect from a partner that votes small business. Register now on simplybiz.co.za and get the support you need to start, grow, and manage your small business. Nedbank is proud to vote small business. Make things happen. Nedbank.
You are much further than you think that you are.
How can you create a tour that's about what's going on right now?
What is it that they're not doing that you can capitalize on?
And that's the one thing that you can provide that the large corporates can't.
Yeah.
And it really is about a customized service that's really personal.
We really should commend you for taking that leap of faith.
That's how you should promote yourself.
Start giving these guys what they want before they ask for it.
I call it passion-fueled optimism.
So big ups.